This video is aimed at peer reviewers of the Essex Student Journal or those who are interested in volunteering as a peer reviewer. This video will be divided into two parts. The first part will introduce the Essex Student Journal and explain the benefits of getting involved. The second part will give tips for completing a peer review with specific focus on reviewing papers for the Essex Student Journal. So let's start with an introduction to the Essex Student Journal. The Essex Student Journal, previously Estro, is a journal run for students by students. The journal published work written by current University of Essex students, both at undergraduate and master's level. The Essex Student Journal is a peer-reviewed journal, and all peer review is completed by PhD students at Essex. The editor of the journal is also a current Essex student. The journal operates via an online publishing platform, so all submission, review, and revision work is managed via the platform. The Essex Student Journal is also a Diamond Open Access journal, which means all works can be read freely online, and there are also no fees involved for authors when publishing. But we'll come back to open access a bit later. We have several aims for the Student Journal. Firstly, we want to make more research freely available and want to set a good example for how the academic publishing landscape should be. That's why we're committed to being a Diamond Open Access journal, giving immediate free access to research for everyone, with no fees for the authors. We also want to ensure that the journal is accessible for everyone. To achieve this, we have made sure the journal platform and its content meets WCAG 2.0 accessibility standards. Finally, we want to introduce early career researchers and students at Essex to the publishing process. That's why we're keen to get as many people involved with the journal as possible, from authors to peer reviewers and the student journal editor. So why should you get involved with the Essex Student Journal? First of all, you will get experience of academic publishing. Peer reviewing is a key part of being an academic, but often new academics are thrown into it with no prior experience. The Essex Student Journal offers this in a supportive environment. Peer reviewing also helps with your own writing. For both of these reasons, peer reviewing experience is a great addition to your CV. You can also keep volunteering as a peer reviewer after leaving the university. It therefore offers a great way to stay involved with the university and its great research, as well as keep a hand in academia, whatever you do next. As a peer reviewer with a student journal, you would also be contributing toward the open access movement, which is a great way to be part of something important. The open access movement aims to provide equal access to research outputs worldwide. This then helps to create a more level playing field in academia and helps to close the current gaps between the global north and the global south when it comes to research. Helping Essex students to publish their work open access also gives more exposure to these authors, giving them a boost in their potential research careers right at the very beginning. There are a wide range of other benefits to open access that I won't go into depth here, but in helping to demonstrate these benefits throughout the university, you are contributing toward broader aims for transforming the scholarly landscape. If you want to find out more information about the open access movement, please do take a look at our open research guide on the library website. Now we're going to talk about the peer review process. The peer review process allows academic work to go through a series of quality checks before publication. It is called peer review as it will be your peers, i.e. fellow researchers in your field, that will be reviewing the paper. On the slide, a diagram will demonstrate the peer review process. The process begins when an author submits a paper. The journal editor then screens the paper and decides whether to reject it straight away, known as a desk rejection, or pass it on to reviewers. A desk rejection will usually only occur if the paper is not suited to the journal due to its style or content. If the paper reaches the peer review stage, there are usually 2 to 3 reviewers. For the Essex Student Journal, there may only be one peer reviewer. The reviewer or reviewers then read through the paper and suggest any changes they think need to be made to the paper. We'll come on to this more specifically for the Essex Student Journal a bit later. Once the reviewers have finished the reviews, their comments and feedback get passed back to the editor. The editor then reviews their comments and passes this back to the author. Once the author has made the changes, editor can then either accept the article, pass it back to reviewers for another review round, or reject the paper. For the Essex Student Journal, we have what is known as a double-blind peer review process. That means that neither the author nor the reviewers know each other's identities. This ensures that there are no biases in the review process and enables everyone to retain confidentiality. This is especially important for smaller journals where individuals involved in the process may know each other. If you decide to volunteer as a peer reviewer, there are a few things to keep in mind when you review the paper. Firstly, think about your mood. How you're feeling can affect how you review a paper, and it's good to make sure you're feeling like you're able to be objective and fair. You also don't want to be reviewing a paper if you're stressed about your own work or if you don't feel you have time to thoroughly read through the paper you've been assigned. When you assess the paper, there are three main things to think about. The structure and flow of the paper is broadly the first thing you'll notice. Do the paragraphs flow nicely from one to another? Does the order of the arguments make sense? Grammar will likely come next. We don't need reviewers to go into too fine detail with this. For example, don't feel you need to correct every small comma or any spelling errors, as that's what we have copy editors for. But think about the grammar more broadly. Does the sentence structure need rethinking? Would it benefit from longer sentences being split into small ones? Will anything need rewriting? Another thing to consider is the subject. Are there any gaps in the field or the literature? Remember, these papers are mostly written by undergraduate students, so we aren't expecting academic level pieces with a full literature review of the entire subject area, but if there are any major gaps, feel free to highlight this. A good tip when reviewing a paper is that it's likely you'll need to read the paper several times. When you first read it, write down your initial reactions as tracked comments in the Word document itself. Then read it again and assess your comments alongside the text. Are your comments fair? Is there anything else you notice, or is it something that on a second read you now understand, but which the author could benefit from clarifying? When considering whether your comments are fair, try to keep these three key considerations in mind. Is your advice constructive? Will the author know what to do to improve upon the part of the paper? Is your advice helping to improve the text? We don't just want comments for the sake of it. Is your advice helping the author to develop their skills? Remember, one of the main aims of the Essex Student Journal is to help new authors with their writing and gain new skills in the publishing process. Having a paper reviewed can be quite intimidating at any stage of an academic career, but particularly when it is the first time your work has been assessed in this way. Try to make the peer review process positive for the author and also for yourself. As peer reviewers, you will be learning lots from the process too, and it's a good opportunity to think about the best ways to be constructive and fair with the way you tailor your advice and guidance. When reviewing papers for the Essex Student Journal, there are three ways you can leave comments. The first is to leave track changes and comments in the Word document. These will tend to be used for specifics in the text, particularly where the authors need to see which part of the text you're referring to with your comments. For example, it may be add another reference here, or this sentence would be clearer for the reader if it was split into two. When you're reviewing a paper, you download the Word document from the publishing platform and then re-upload a version of the document with your comments. The second is to leave general comments for the author. There is a specific section for this on the publishing platform and is mostly used to give your general perspective on the piece as a whole. The final way to leave comments is to leave general comments for the editor, and again, there is a specific section for this on the publishing platform. This won't be seen by the author and can allow you to give your opinion to the editor on what should happen next with this piece. You could also use this section to clarify some of your comments to the author in case the editor needs to discuss the paper with the author further. The comments and guidance you give are used to back up your recommendation on the paper. There are three options for this: accept with minor revisions, accept with major revisions, or reject. This is a recommendation and not a decision, as the editor will get to decide whether to follow your recommendation before passing it on to the author. If the editor disagrees with your recommendation, they will likely get in touch with you to discuss it further. If the paper needs major revisions, it may well come back to you again for another review round. We have a range of guidance available to peer reviewers, including instructions for using the publishing platform. However, we're also happy to meet with you via Zoom to demonstrate the platform itself and to answer any questions you might have. You can also get in touch with us via email or via our Contact Us form from the Essex Student Journal website. Volunteering as a peer reviewer for the Essex Student Journal is a great opportunity to get involved with academic publishing. So if you're interested, please do sign up as a peer reviewer via our website at publications.essex.ac.uk. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to working with you soon.